Welcome back, guys. It's your boy Sam, and today what we're doing is a Wikipedia search engine. So what we have here is just a basic input, and we have this tag here that says wiki search. And what happens is that whenever I search something, like I could search programming, I click and I press enter, you can see that I get different options for programming right here. And if I just click on programming paradigm, you see that we get taken to our Wikipedia page on this topic. So that's why I call it a Wikipedia search engine, because whatever you want to search, I think this is even better than using Google, because Google would give you other stuff. You just put a topic you want, and then it gives you the different options for that topic, and also gives you just programming itself. So this is going to be an easy, nothing too complicated tutorial. And yeah, this is day 2 of our 100-day coding challenge. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like the vid, and you know what, let's get to it. Yeah, so the first thing we do before we start writing the HTML code is just real quick, let's go, you click right there, and then you see this place right here, stuff for your head. You can put a lot of meta tags here, and the meta tag I want you to put is your font awesome. So I want you to put your font awesome meta tag, because we will be using font awesome for an icon, the search icon. If you don't want the search icon on your project, you don't have to do this, but if you want it to be exactly as I did mine, you will have to use the font awesome search icon. So you paste the link right here on the head, and that's all you need to do, and you just click save and close. So when that is done, now let's get to the HTML. And now what we do is we have a div with a class of container, and inside this div we'll have a h1 tag, and this h1 is going to say wiki search. After that we'll have our input. The input is going to be text, the type, and we'll give it an ID of search term. After that we'll also give it a name, of search, and add a placeholder. And this placeholder is going to say search Wikipedia. And put some dots there. Now what we need to put is we need to get our font awesome icon and actually paste the link right here. Click on icons and then search. Copy the link right here. Now all we do is we just paste the link here. Now we can see the icon right there. Now we need to create a div for our output. So say output. And that's all. We're not going to use a button for this. If you want to use a button, you can use a button, but I'm not going to use a button for this. And I'll show you why in the JavaScript. But for now, let's just do the styling of the CSS. Now for the styling of the CSS, I'm using pop-ins as usual. So I'm going to pop right out again. I'm going to use 400 regular. Click that, import. I just take the code right here, copy it, and paste it right there. And I'm also going to take the font family because I do not want to write that, and just put it, I'll just call the body tag, and I'll paste it in the body. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to give this input a class. We could use the ID, but I just want to give it a class too, just to make things more orderly. And I'll call this search input, copy the class name. Now we'll go to our CSS and say dot search input, and the first styling we're giving it is a padding of 0.7 em. give it a border radius of 100 pixels. And also we give it a border of none. Now we're going to use some box shadowing because without the box shadowing, we won't really see the inputs. Say 0, 1 pixel, 3 pixel, RGBA, 0, 0, 0, 4 zeros basically. No, 3 zeros and then 0.12. You can see it's showing a little bit, but we'll add a little bit more. Say 0, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, then RGBA, 0, 0, 0, and then the last one 0.24. So now we can see the input looking really nice. I'll just add a padding left. And you'll see why I'm adding this padding left later when we add the icon. I'll say 40 pixel. And yep, that's it. That's it for the inputs. Now we'll go to the icon. And the icon, I'm going to give it a position of absolute so I can move it. And now say left 16 pixels. And I'll put top 6.3 M and a color of gray. You can use whatever color you want. Didn't really want to think about doing too much to it. And you know what? That's it for the CSS. We got our button. Now it's time for the JS. Now for the JS, we are using here, I want you to come right here, you click there, JavaScript preprocessor, we're using Babel. And also we added our jQuery library into here. So if you're using this, you just click on jQuery and you get it. jQuery, so you get it right here. Or if you're not using CodePen, you can just Google jQuery link and you get this whole CDNJS. So you get it online. So you know what, I might leave it down in the description below if you're not using CodePen for how you can get the link. And you just put it on the head of your HTML file. And for all of you like, oh jQuery, it's old and all, no, you should understand jQuery. You should practice jQuery. That's why I'm actually doing something with jQuery. Most companies that have been like 10 years old, 15 years old, they actually use jQuery and they want their developers to understand it and not be scared of jQuery. So if you're scared of using jQuery right now, it says a lot about you, but you know what? Let's get to it. First thing we do is we use the $sign. That's how we do jQuery. And then we say hash search term. And I hope you know what search term is. Then we say key press. Search term is our ID. Key press. And this key press is basically saying when we click on a key, it wants this function here to be called. And this function, no, we can console.log e later. I want you to see what e is, but for now, just leave it like that. But if you're doing this project, check what e is. And then we say if e is the event, basically. I would say key code. So we're saying if the event is equal to, that we clicked on, is equal to 13. Now 13 key code is basically the enter. So that's why you see we don't need a button here. is because when we write whatever we want on our input right here, all we need to do is just click a button. And now you can see this outline. I clicked here and you can see the outline. So this reminds me, we need to go to the CSS just real quick. On the inputs, I'll put outline none. Now what we're saying right here is if we click on the enter key, we want this condition to be observed. So save our search term. Save our search term is equal to $, or £sign. I don't know which one it is. I call it $, £, search term. .val. And this function is just value in JavaScript. .val. So we want the value. So if we write here Sam, we want Sam. That's the value. I know we can also console.log. Just so you see what's happening under the hood, that's why I'm putting this console.logs. Search term. The next thing we say var URL is equal to, now here we need to paste our API key or our API link, so the Wikipedia API link. And I'll also put in the description down below how you can get that. I'll also put this code pen down below in the description so you can see the whole code. Now I'm just gonna paste it right here. And you can see that this link, you can see right here it says HTTPS, and then you see the whole wikipedia.org api.php action open search plus our search term, and that's the search term here, the variable right here, plus then format JSON callback. So that's it right there. Now I'm gonna create some more space here. And also, yes, like this is much better. Now we use the £sign again. No, the $sign, that's not the £sign. £sign is the hash. But yeah, then we say Ajax or Ajax. Now we say URL, comma, type, and the type is get in all capital. Then we say async, false, create some space here. Then data input, data type, say JSON, success, function, I would say data, status, JQH, no, XHR. Now we can also console.log. And console.log data, because I want you to see what's happening under the hood so you can understand what we're doing here more. Next thing is just a for loop. Basic for loop will say var I starts at 0, if I is less than data, then square bracket 1 dot length, say I plus plus. Now use the $sign again. Yeah, so I'm just going to paste this right here and explain it. So what we're saying right here is that we want, and I know our output ID, which is the div we created to display our output, the empty div. We want to prepend, and this is just like appending something. So we prepend, that's how we say it in jQuery, prepend, and then we say, okay, we want to prepend this with the link, and this link right here is going to be, let me show you now. So if I type here coding and I click enter, you see that it shows up. I don't need to press any button. Why I click enter and it shows up is because of what we did right here, because the 13 key code is this enter key. So now you can see we have all our options, and what this does is that on the link, in this div, it creates a link, and this link we put data 3i. And you can see right here we have all the links for all this data right here. So these are the links. You can see coding social science, and this is coding social science. So that's it here, and the first one is just coding, and that's here. So what we're saying is that we want to append each link to each right here, because we have another array, and this array has coding theory. So we're basically, what this code right here is doing is that we're putting together each word. So we have here coding, and then we're attaching a link to it. So that's what we do right here. We're attaching this link to it, and then this h2 is attaching the name, which is like coding theory. That's what we're doing right here in the h2. So yeah, that's it. You can see it's working out perfectly well. So if we just click on coding theory, now we can see a whole Wikipedia just about all that. But you know what? Let's do something more. Let's do Marvel. Click enter. Now we can see Marvel Studios, Marvel Comics, Marvel Cinematic Universe. You click on that, and now you can see everything on Marvel. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you understood what we just did here and you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also comment down below if you have any questions. We're going to wrap things up and keep things moving. See you in the next YouTube video.